It was struck dead simply for touching the ark when he tried to steady it during transport. So again, this underscores the ark's fear for holiness. Only designated priests should be able to handle it, or were able to handle it, and did so with the utmost care. So again, circling back to kind of what you just said, is somebody comes up, they slap their hand on this thing. If this thing is active, right, and they just grab onto it, they just get a shock wave sent through their body and they just drop dead on the spot. You know, you're thinking from a reactor standpoint, any sort of a generator of any sort of power of that magnitude. That would leave speculation as to how are the priests, now as designated ones, able to carry this or maneuver this forward.
Well, it was carried on poles, supposedly, right? So when we looked at that photo, which is really just, at the end of the day, a rendition of the Ark. Nobody actually knows what in God's name it looked like. But if it was carried on poles, that would be a way to transport it without actually touching it.
Correct. Yeah. And I'm wondering if maybe they didn't have some sort of garb or uniform or something that was maybe serving as more of like a reactor type suit.
Like when you get an X-ray.
When you get an X-ray, right? So we don't know, because remember, the priests would have been dressed differently and they're treated differently because of their stature. So it's very plausible that the materials that they were wearing had some sort of protection against them, hypothetically. I don't know if they were wearing gloves or anything at that time, but I'm just speculating here. Of course, all of these things happening lends into the ideas of the supernatural. And so the Ark is described in various texts as radiating this otherworldly force. Supernatural, or again, could be some sort of generating power. One of our favorites, Graham Hancock, note in the Sign and the Seal that the ancient sources speak of the arks as blazing with fire and light, stopping the rivers and blasting whole armies. So in essence, it's seen as this divine weapon or tool with this tremendous power that could unleash this deadly energy on the Ark's enemies, or the holders of the Ark's enemies.